Hi, and welcome back. I realized that I needed a part two because I left out some key information for y'all that you really need. In the beginning, in your B of the B.A.M.C.I.S acronym, that's going back to that, and then going back up here to begin the planning. Okay, I mentioned the Take a Hop app. It's Mill Space A, Take a Hop. You can find it in the App Store. It is only for iOS devices. When it first came out over a dozen years ago or so, it was for both iOS and Android, and it actually had an Android. It went dormant for a little bit. Some of the links were not valid anymore. They revamped it, and they only revamped it for iOS. This, if you have an iOS device, it is invaluable because you can sign up multiple places. I usually sign up 30 places or more. If I think I'm going to go out of that terminal, I sign up for it. Don't fret if you don't. Make sure that you are signing up via the main AMC Air Mobility Command website. I will have that link coming up in a second here. Save your sent email, print that bad boy out. You don't really need a copy anymore. They will look at your phone, see, and it's in Julian date. It was in Julian date, and the time is in Zulu time. That's going to effectively act as your sign up date. Again, I'm talking about military retirees. If you're active duty, you must be in leave status. It's a whole kit and caboodle. Make sure you go and get the skinny on how to properly make sure you are signed up and that you're actively recorded. Again, military Take a Hop app is for iOS devices only. So the cost is, when I first used it, was like $6.99. I think it's still less than $10. It is still very, very worth it. In the complete the plan, the arrange recount, I think I've satisfied everything. Hold on a second. My son is texting me too, so I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. Okay, so in the arrange recon, listen, if you want to get a good feel for how to navigate a Patriot Express flight going out of Seattle, which goes to the Pacific, Seattle goes to Guam, Japan, Yokota and Misawa in the north, South Korea, Seoul. So, and it goes throughout, it stops at Iwakuni, Japan, which is a Marine Corps base. You can only get on that flight if you are SOFA status. Y'all know what that is. Status of Forces Agreement, basically you're stationed there. If you're not stationed there, you cannot fly in on a military space A flight, but I'm pretty sure you can get there if you do civilian travel. So check that page out. I'm going to give you the link right here. It has it's a wealth of information. They tell you when you should sign up. For instance, in Seattle, they do their roll call at every terminal is typically 3 hours before they take off their bouts. So the flights leave around 7 a.m. in the morning the next day. Coming from the East Coast, what I will do is either try to get a military space aid flight out of somewhere on the East Coast, and typically it will be at Andrews Air Force Base going to McCord, which is Washington, which is not Seattle. You have to, by ground travel, get over to SeaTac, aka AMC Passengers Terminal in the Seattle International Airport. It is located right behind Hawaiian Airlines. They have a regular counter, just like Hawaiian Airlines, Frontier, JetBlue, all that good stuff. But the Space A office is in baggage claim, and they are about it. Very efficient. They are on their stuff. So if roll call is 3:30 in the morning, I would typically make a flight for the afternoon to get out to Seattle, or try to get on a Space A flight that will get me out there in the evening, and I hang out. They have an awesome USO. I will be doing a USO roundup. That USO in Seattle is awesome. They service everyone, but they really have a priority for active duty. Those of us who are retirees, we have to kind of get out of the way. And if they have room for us, great. I've been very lucky. They've had room for us even when it was crowded. Can I say enough about them? And their chairs are so comfortable. Be careful falling asleep because you can miss a roll call. It happened to me 2 times because I was traveling all day, nodded off my alarm and my phone. I just didn't feel it because I was sleeping that hard and had to sprint back downstairs. And luckily, They had not gotten to our category yet, and I didn't miss getting picked. I got picked both times. Both times, as you will go to the Seattle page right now and see that there's 0T. I want to talk about that. So T means the tentative seat release that the loadmaster has released. F means it's firm. And even then, it is not written in stone. Somebody may not show up. That's space required. I didn't go into that as in the other video. Space required is the primary mission. Gear movement, primary mission. Then it gets opened up to space A, and that's what we all in all 6 of our categories fall in. So I need to make sure I specify the difference between that. Even if it says 0, make the roll call. Go through the rounds of selection. See if you get selected. And even if they do not select you, do not leave the terminal. And I'm going to put that in the end and for emphasis. So I talked about the difference between temp and firm seat release. Let's move on to the next acronym, which is, go back up here. Making the recon. Find out if your AMC passenger terminal has food, have snacks. When I was traveling, some of the stations were just getting back online and they did not have food, they did not have snacks, and I left. Don't do that. I left because I still had a few hours before I'd already made selection for the flight. Excuse me, my nose is itching. And I didn't want to be flying without anything. And guess who got left? Because they left early. If they make their selection, they get their gear loaded up, that crew is ready to go. Be travel ready. You cannot be travel ready if you are not there. Do not leave that terminal. Now that we have we have arranged the recon, we have made the recon, now it's time to complete the plan. And now it's time to roll out. And for complete the plan, I have a couple of things here. Lodging. One of the things I did not emphasize is sometimes your best deal is lodging right off base. Now, I happen to have stumbled across these 2 that happened to me last year. It's going to be in my roundup when I do the lodging roundup and I rank the different places that I lodged at last year. In Korea, in Osan, again, they really stick to their occupancy rules. We are space A. We are space A. So they have to set aside enough rooms for those who are space required, and they are the priority. What I love about them is, even though the occupancy was only at 94%, we fell outside of being accommodated, no problem. They called over to a sister hotel off base right outside the gate of Osan called Asia Hotel in Korean. Gave them my information, made the reservation for me. They had room for me. Is actually less. It was a little less than on base, and they had breakfast included, and they had a shuttle, a free driver. The driver got you from the hotel over to the terminal, and he played no games. We had a group who were part of the crew. One of the guys had left something in his room. And he's like, oh, we got to go back. The driver said, well, I'm going to drop them off and then I will take you back. His priority was getting us to that terminal, and he was about that life. And I love him for that. So the second instance of off base not necessarily being more was in Ramstein. We had landed in the middle of the evening. There was some kind of military group there, and they had no rooms, no problem. The desk clerk, he was the coolest of face. He said, I got y'all. It was me and a couple. The desk clerk called Hotel Christine. I had been through Ramstein probably about 7 times. Never stayed off base unless I was staying with family, because I had family that lived right in Manhattan at the time. Well, last year they moved and they were in a place called Ulm. Anyway, called Hotel Christine, and that's another thing, y'all. Lodging rates are different. If it's been a long time since you have flown space A, remember how we used to have base lodging was so much cheaper than off base. After the pandemic, that funding got cut. These rooms are at market rate. They're not necessarily the best deal. Ramstein rooms start at like $156. I know I came through there in 2017 and it was like less than 90. Those days are gone. Let it go. You have different bases that are less expensive. Like Osan is still like 60 something, which is great. Hotel Christine was like 94 euro. Euro is stronger than a dollar. It was still less by like $60, and breakfast was included. The bummer, even though it was right out not too far off base in Landstuhl, that cab was $25 to get to base, 25 euro. But I had an authentic German experience, and I will stay there again. I would not have known about Hotel Christine or had firsthand experience. I knew about it, but it was in the periphery. So know that if we get there and it's late and the rooms are booked, the hotel staff will typically accommodate you. Sometimes, like in Japan, they will act like they can't help you, and it depends on who's helping you. Again, my roundup of all of my experiences at the different bases will be in a roundup, and that is coming. So, in Make Recon, consider your off-base lodging your off-base lodging opportunities. The groups that I recommended, Pop and Smoke was a blog, but they also have a group, and there's a lot of great information passing there. Again, they are not officially the Air Mobility Command, but there are so many good trip reports that they provide in there. You get some good gouge. Second is the Military Space Aid group, and they also drop some knowledge in there that is very beneficial. So we're on the complete the plan part. So I wanted to also touch. So Turumi Lodge is Osan and the on base in Hotel Asia. Asia Hotel is the hotel that they work closely in when there's an overflow. Now that we're here, do I have anything for issue to order? And my nose decided it wants to run right when I go live. I'm going to jump ahead to supervise. Again, this is a key thing. Do not leave. Do not leave. Do not leave. A couple of incidents, they closed. They were like, hey, we're done. I didn't make the selection. I just hung out. And they opened up a seat for me. This happened in my very first space aid going over to Road to Spain when we can go to Road to Spain. So don't sleep on staying at the terminal until that plane is in the air and they are off. If you have time to stay, just stick around, because the what do you call it, the load master may see that you're sitting there waiting and we're like, we have enough room. They make the call. So if at all possible, do not leave that terminal. Sometimes people don't show up. Sometimes bags aren't as heavy as they thought, and they can accommodate you, especially if you're just one person or just a couple. With that, I am wrapping this up. I'm going to go through my banners here because I literally have a whole bunch of stuff that I did. So, recap. We talked about the A.M.C. Passenger Terminal website. That's your first stop. I didn't get into this. Roll call report. I know it was something I'm forgetting. When you're making a recon, go to Seattle's website. Go to any of the A.M.C. passenger terminals. They will typically update them. Some of them don't. But Seattle is on it. They almost always have their stuff up within a few hours of that last flight that went out. That roll call report has good information. On that roll call report, you have the actual mission, the seat release, the seats that were filled, the seats or packs of people who were competing for the seats. Let's say they released 6 seats. They had 25 people there. What is the lowest category of the people who were trying to compete? And what is the lowest category of the people who got a seat? If you're looking at Seattle, you're trying to get to Japan, there's 0 seat releases. The firm seat release turns out to be 4. The lowest category is 2. They're not picking us. And if you see that over a period of a week or so, you probably want to wait towards probably like a 3rd week of the month. Well, if it's the 5th, are you going to stick around to try and compete on that flight, or would you just go ahead and book a commercial flight and get to wherever you're trying to go, whether it be your next travel destination or trying to get back home? This roll call report, it has again date, destination, seat release, seats used, lowest category of selected, and the date that it signs up. So you can kind of gauge of how that's where the seniority comes in, and it's within the category. You're not competing if you are category 6. You're not competing with somebody who's a higher category 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. If you don't know what those categories are, you need to refresh yourself. Just go ahead and check out the website because we Gen X or older. We're used to looking up some stuff. Next thing, talked about age of hotel. Sometimes the better deal is off base. I told you about Hotel Christine. Upcoming episodes, I'm going to be giving an AMC terminal roundup. I have specific criteria that I gave, and I keep it the same, and I rank them. Ditto for the military lodging roundup. Ditto for the Space A terminal roundup. Ditto for the U.S. Military Center roundup. So I say military center because there are some commercial airports that have USOs in them that I've been to that I really feel that you should check out. And you just have to get the specifics when that episode appears. So tune in and don't miss out. Again, lodging rates on base are significantly higher. Where do you go to find out what the lodging rates are? They get released for the fiscal year on dodlodging.net. Go here for a comprehensive list of your lodging rates. It gives you a great idea of what your lodging costs will be, and you can appropriately plan and budget for those. 2 hotel or resorts I want to mention to you. If you are going to Japan, they have 2 of them I highly recommend. The Nusano, I didn't mention the other one. It's downtown. It's escaping me. The Nusano resort is very reasonable price. Is by your rank. The lower your rank, the lower the cost. The higher your rank, the higher the cost. And it's still significantly less expensive because you are in the heart of Tokyo, right outside the Roppongi district. You cannot beat it. Key thing to know, and I almost got caught, and luckily the guy had grace on me. If you sign up, because it's hard to get a seat and you sign up way in advance, and I had intended to travel back there in the fall, I got a room. I couldn't believe it for like a chunk of 3 days, and then I didn't travel. You must cancel within a week. You must cancel within a week or you'll be billed one night. Luckily, he had grace on me and he let me slide. But the rule is, and it's written in black and white, you must cancel no later than 7 days. No later than 7 days. And for sign up, I don't know if I went back through this, so let's double back again. For Seattle, when you sign up, roll calls at 3:30. Be there no later than 30 minutes before roll call. You can mark yourself present up to 24 hours prior to roll call, but you physically must be there no later than 30 minutes before roll call. And then once roll call goes, that's when you go through the rounds of selection. You have to have your money to pay. You get your luggage weighed and you get weighed. They go off of weight. Once they have weight and balance, you may not get picked. Case in point, in Norfolk, they had 33 seats available, but there were so many Marines and sailors moving. They had so much gear, the plane was heavy, and they had to cut it off at category 4. So whether you get a seat or not is not always contingent upon how many seats they have available. And you won't know that if you're not there. And with the last step, supervise. Do not leave before that plane is in the air if you can help it, because stuff can change. And with that, I thank you for watching. I appreciate serving you, and hopefully I've given you some useful information for your next Space A adventure. It's not as scary as you think. You do have a ton of patience, but there's so much more information out there. And it's such an enjoyable ride when you actually get on a flight leaving this country for like $38 if it comes from Germany, or $21. Oh, that was a Belgian. I can't believe I did that one earlier. or 21 bucks and some change if you're going to Japan or Korea. With that, I'm Angel Chestnut. We are Angel Chestnut Studio, and thank you for watching.